exciting show set up for us today. I'm going to be going into talk about some of the stocks that are making news here recently, my stock screen, my watch list, and also a website where I find a fair bit of stuff. So actually, I'm going to get right to it. Today, I'm going to start by with a screen share. So let's just get right into that right now. So as you can see there on your screen is the screen share. I better update my page just so I make sure everything's working as it should. This is the page that I set up for my shows. I see that my see there on your presenter screen there is a little bit share. Where you can update my page just so I make sure everything's working as it should. This is the page that I set up for my show. Have to turn that off. Sorry about that. You folks, I got to tell you, I'm working on live stream. I recently started doing the shows on live stream. I'm getting all the kinks out of using the system, and I'm just trying to get a handle on everything. How to use it properly. That's why I've been kind of a little reluctant to bring some guests on because my last guest was one of my sponsors and it didn't really, the audio on his end didn't come out that great. So unfortunately, or not unfortunately, I'm going to be able to reschedule that visit, and we'll do it over again with Wolfton Resources, one of my sponsors. This is the page that I set up. As you can see, there's a series of sponsors here. They include Allset Energy, Nevada Exploration, Premier Gold Mines, Sirius Resources, Tarku Resources, Tudor Gold, West Red Lake Gold Mines, and Wolfton Resources. They are the companies that help me bring these shows to you. I invite you to check out all those companies and do your homework. I have. That's why I invited them to be sponsors of my shows and sponsors of my website, and I think they're a great group of companies. I also have my book coming out soon. As I'm talking to you today, my publisher is putting it all online. It should be available for sale fairly soon. So on that note, let's get right into what I wanted to talk about today. I want to get into stocks, and I want to get into what I do on a daily basis. First of all, one of my early tasks is I go on my watch list here. I've set it up on Yahoo Finance. It's a really easy way for me to keep track of a lot of companies. And over the years, I add companies, I subtract companies, and I follow the ones that, as news comes out and sort of they pass some of my screens, I then add them to this list. In fact, one of them was just added today, this CNX, Calinex Mines. It's not actually a new on my watch list. They were recently spun out and they've gone through some corporate name changes and stuff like that. But here's their stock chart. And it was sort of sleepy, had a couple runs in the past year. And then today it was up 19 cents, 52%. What moved the stock, and I might as well go back to, I really like some of the stuff that they've recently done some real cool stuff at CEO.ca. I'm just going to go right to there. We can talk about that other company from that context. I'm going to talk about some of the cool features they have here. One of them is Newsroom. And what they have in the Newsroom here is you can go and filter through and quickly see by stock symbols and by headlines and then links to a series of news releases, and they start pumping them out right early in the morning. They have all the various different news releases from the Canadian listed companies. They have links to relevant type posts. It is a really good source to get a lot of information, and they start pumping it out right early in the morning. I'm not going to scroll through here and this is sort of my coffee, do my task while I'm having my coffee, and I find which ones, there's one, Cisco, ceased to be insider of Bonterra Resources. Isn't that interesting? So Cisco is a company I've followed for a long time, and it took a big equity position in Bonterra Resources. I think a lot of that interest was because they have a large group of claims around one of Bonterra's key ground. And I just saw this news come across that they've now ceased to be, so they've sold all their stock in Bonterra, Cisco Mining. Um, so that is an interesting thing. There you go. There's a piece of, I'm going to show you something else here. So now I click on Cisco, and a new screen comes up. This is the actual screen for Cisco, the main screen. But there's a secondary screen so anytime someone puts $OSK in a post, whether it's news or people are commenting on the company, if they include OSK or they come to this page, they'll get, they comment right in here. So you can see there's a lot of commentary on Cisco. But this is the one that I like to do. I like to pop it up here. And what you can see is all their various different news releases are well laid out for you. Below that, they have CEO.ca's various different sponsors. Again, they're much like me. They are able to do what they do because of their sponsors, and they put them right in the sort of feed, if you will, or page for the company. I think that's really cool. They also want to promote these community articles. There's a lot of contributors to the site, commenters that also write articles, or there's people that are part of the CEO company that also write articles, including Tommy Humphreys. As you can see, he's at Tommy right there. I'm pointing to his name. And then, okay, so up here at the top, you can see this chart of Cisco. It had been moving up pretty nicely until the summer. We're going to see this in a lot of gold charts. And I think that this has sort of been some summer doldrums coming into September. Now I'm starting to see a lot of them come to life again. I'm not sure which moving average they have on this. It looks to me to probably be about a 100-day moving average. I wish that they had a short-term one, let's say 30 days, a 50-day, and maybe a 100-day, or some like a 200-day in there as well. For me, when it comes to these smaller companies, I want to get a little closer. So that's why I like that 30, 50, and 100-day, but definitely need some short and longer term, because a lot of times in these trends, you can see where a short-term trend starts to break under a death cross or a bullish cross, a golden cross. You want to be able to see those things. They're major indicators for me. But as you can see, it had a nice little pop-up recently there. So this is interesting stuff for me, Cisco, and their getting rid of their Bonterra stock. I'm going to go back to that newsroom and get scrolling through there again. Let's go back to that one that I was talking about just a moment ago, the Calinex that had CNX as their symbol. Calinex had some news out today, and it moved so aggressively, up almost 50-some% there. I wanted to talk about that. So it's CNX. So we'll do a Calinex. So there's Calinex. And so what you're going to see here when it does the search for Calinex. Oh, I think I need to search an index. Sorry about that, folks. So I'm looking for CNX. I put it up in the search bar there. And it should give me Calinex. There you go. So I'll pop up their chart so we can take a look at it. As you can see, it had a move up in May, gave back some of those gains, had another nice pop in late August, it looks like, and then yesterday it was 35 cents, and today it's up here somewhere. Had one of those big moves upward. So it's broken through all of its moving averages, and what did that move was their news here. So actually, I prefer to go right to the company. So I go to I click to the company there, and I thought that's how I get to the company's website. Unfortunately, it's not. I forget how I do that again. I think they used to have that linked over. Anyways, so we'll go to the news here, and you can see 10.3 meters grading 13.1% zinc equivalent, 6% zinc, 1.8 grams per ton gold, 60.4 grams per ton silver, 0.7% copper, and 0.4% lead. And it by they what they that is a hole that was an extension of a previous hole by Placer Dome, which but they increased it by 38 meters. The original hole was drilled in '93. They had a mandate to discover a 30 metric ton VMS deposit at the Pine Bay project, large geophysical target associated with intersection that projects a long strike to the southwest for 700 meters and to a depth of 1,000 meters. This discovery is situated within a mining lease located 16 kilometers from Hudbay's processing facilities, which have less than 4 years of ore mining remaining. So now I'll click on their, yeah, that's what it does. That's hot link to their website. So let's go to Callinex, and I'll go to their latest news. And what we want to see here is this news release, because I was on here earlier and they did a really good job with all their various different maps. So there's your various different holes and their significant intersections. If you go down to this next map, it highlights which claims belong to Callinex. And as you can see there, the black black dots are historic mines. So you can see this area has quite a significant group of historic mines. It's in close proximity to a major camp for these base metals in Flin Flon, Manitoba. And as you can see, they've also highlighted some deposits here. So now we're going to scroll down further, and now you can start to see the plan map of the northern Pine Bay area. So this is looking down, and you can see where they drilled this hole. And I believe this should be some sort of VMS horizon. So that's their anomaly there. And this is the entire horizon. So they were cutting right across it, and that's where they hit that 10.3 meter intersection. And then you can start to line it up here with another 3.3 meter intersection of 3.2% copper. So again, very nice grades. And here's a cross section. So this gives you a better, from a side look at the what this looks like, what their drilling looks like. They've got this density here looks more of the historical work, and then these new holes up in here that look very interesting. Here's a section, a long section of the where they're getting these new intersections as well, and then here they've got a panel that indicates the geophysical target that's wide open if you keep going down along this along where they've hit these drill holes. So what they're trying to highlight by that map is how wide open this is, and that they're looking like they're getting some continuity there that looks quite interesting as well. And so this is definitely one I'm going to do my homework on. Now, anytime they sort of take a spike, like you can see on this chart here, Callinex, you know, it's always a little bit challenging. They basically went straight up today to right here. I'm not understanding why these aren't showing the spike. Their websites I was at today were live, and they were showing the spikes. Anyway, so that's their website, callinex.ca. Really good coverage here. I'll show you why this means a lot to me with the CEO stuff. I'm going back a few screens, and over here you could see that someone put the news out. There's lots of you always want to find on these websites the difference between signal and noise, and the ratio of signal to noise at this website is quite phenomenal. Now, I'm going to go back to the index, and as you can see here, this is where Tommy Humphreys, who is the owner of the site, and Murat, they look at this, who's the designer and does all the back work. They look at this as sort of the online conference for investors that you can just come into, and a lot of different topics get talked about in that forum. And I look at it sort of like, I'm still kind of learning my stock market stuff from the old days, and I like to think about when the early days they called it the street, because that's where stocks were traded out physically on the street. And it would get kind of crazy on the street sometimes, as you could imagine, just like it does on the floor of the exchange or at a conference. And this is a sort of an online version of a conference, but you can go there any time of the day from your phone, online, or on your website. And so scrolling through here is often where I find a lot of companies to keep an eye on. I mentioned earlier that I was going to be doing a show today, and so there was some one of the gentlemen here, he highlighted Northern Shield as one to take a look at. Now, Northern Shield I've taken a look at a little bit of late, and they do have an interesting story. They're looking for some really big deposits in the Labrador Trough that are quite exciting. It's an area where you're looking for really big deposits, but one thing that I've always kept aware of is that this company has a fair amount of stock out. So, for example, their current market value cap is 28 million. So that means that 14.5 cents, let's say 14 cents, they've got close to 200 million shares out. And it's kind of come down of late. There was a lot of speculation built up because of the enthusiasm to the quality of the targets. But whenever you're looking for big targets, a lot of people that speculate on mining stocks, they tend to think that one hole is going to be the savior of the company, and all of a sudden they're going to find the mother lode, if you will, and stock goes straight up from there and never stops. Unfortunately, that's not the way life works. It's not the way the reality of this mining business works. What could be considered as a failure in one season, the next season it could be the indicator that leads to the success. I always want to look at these things along a timeline of development. When they're in the exploration phases, they've got a pretty rich valuation for what I would consider an exploration stock. But when I see a valuation like that where they have a lot of stock out, it has to be in an area where they're looking for something really big. And that's what these guys are. So I'd get you to check them out. That's a good one to do some homework on. They've come down of late. Is this support here? Do some homework. I know that they've got some drilling underway at their Huckleberry. And so they'll be putting out news. Keep an eye on that one. A lot of people, smart people, follow it. Another stock he mentioned is Copperbank. Copperbank is one of those sleepy little lightly traded, as you can see, not much of a stock chart here because it trades by appointment. What this company is it's they're a let's say leverage play on higher copper prices. They're going out there and acquiring projects that don't look that attractive with current copper prices. But they believe strongly, as I do, that copper is going to go up, and as it goes up, these projects that were formerly not worth looking at much become a lot more interesting and have the possibility of becoming future production. Now, I have to preface that a lot with that could be. When they're not being looked at because of the price, you got to be careful. That means that they have the dog has some fleas on it. But as I said, if the price of copper moves up a lot, has a way of curing that dog of their fleas, and can make a real turnaround for a sleepy little company like this. I've interviewed the top dude there that runs the company, Gianni. I don't even want to try to say his last name because I know I'll mess it up. But Gianni's a really smart guy. Wrote a great book. My electrician drives a Porsche. I hope I didn't mess that up. But really good book to check out. And he runs that company, and I would check him out if I were you. Goldfinger is a person that's posts regularly, sharp person. They posted here bullish MACD crossover in the Goldies today, along with a breakout from a 2-week bottoming pattern. So he's technical analyst, and he noticed something really interesting here. As you can see, he's sort of he's putting in there the bottom that he's seen form, and now that it popped above this resistance, now does it have a possibility to trade above that 60-day moving average there? It found the support at the 200-day, which is very interesting, while he highlighted as well. And this MACD also looks like it's going through a turnaround. So this is a great jumping off point to talk about the price of gold, which I wanted to talk about anyways today. So let's go. Here's the website that I usually go on to look at the futures price for gold and other commodities. So here's the price of gold. This is a 1-year chart. And as you can see here, this is the cup that he's talking about. Now, I believe that what we're seeing here is very reminiscent of what we saw here earlier in the year. This was more of an almost perfect cup with a handle. I think that this is more like going to be like a U-type recovery. And the reason that I say that is it's found support here at above 1250. Doesn't want to seem to go below that. The fundamentals are very bullish based on supply and demand. Supply is very weak at every level: exploration, development, new mine development, and in current production. And the demand is very strong from China and India and other places. More people are worried about a lot of stuff that's going on with the global economy. So there's been a revival of the price of gold that ended a long-term bear market back in here. So this, I believe, is going to be more of a U-type action. I see it very oversold here. I'm going to now, I've got someone on calling me here. Unfortunately, I'm going to have to miss that call because I don't want to surprise him by letting him know that he's online here. Sorry about that, folks. I'll call that person later. So here's here's a more daily chart. This tells you kind of the action for the day. So in the futures market, here you can see what's happening in the European trading. A very good start to the day. You go back a couple days, and I was indicating that I was looking for this week to start to be a good week for gold. So it started out very good here. This was earlier today. Then we've seen this pattern a lot where when you get into the U.S. trading here around 9 Eastern, and for a few hours there's often a lot of pressure on the downside. You see all these red spikes here in the volume, prices coming down. They're short, putting a lot of pressure on the price. But lately you've been seeing some during the day kind of recoveries. Now we've got some sideways action. I'm expecting another up day tomorrow. So I expect another day somewhat like this. We see a good European trading. And the reason I'm confident of this is that we've been seeing it pretty regularly lately. As you can see, here's the spikes on a day. You can't see the downward pressure as well, but here's every day. It goes through this same pattern. Lots of reds most of those days. Now, you notice that the volume of reds, and the volume is starting to slow down as we get over here. And so now I'm going to pull back to the daily chart, and that gets us back to this side of where we are today. And because this is so oversold, I think we're looking for like $150 move in the price of gold between here and the end of the year. And so I'll now go back to that comment I was talking about there where Goldfinger had noticed his chart there. Again, this is the kind of work that you're getting from people. He's gone out and he's put together a screen. He's put together his screen. He's done his analysis for you. He's putting some very important indicators on there for you. And, this is just something that Goldfinger and others do on a daily basis. Myself, as you can see, when I have new commentary in, I'm Allan, and I posted somewhere up here that I was going to be having a live show today, and then the link to it. So a lot of the folks that are in the CEO chat site here, they come and watch the show live, and I spend a lot of time in here because I find a lot of good analysis. Now, this chat, Tommy, I was at a conference last week, and Tommy was one of the public speakers, and he was saying that, a lot of yahoos in here, and that, but there is, and there's a lot of really sharp people as well. And you can find commentary from a lot of sharp people that are watching a lot of good stocks, and they've done significant analysis of those stocks. And so they're creating commentary, they're creating analysis here that you can get for no cost. All you have to do is sign up, and you're in. So for some reason, of course, because I'm doing a show live, it doesn't want to load. So I fixed that. Oh, I got my buddy calling here, and I'll have to pass on that call because he's calling me to harass me about football. So I'm sorry. Of course, everybody decides to call me while I'm doing my show. I fixed a problem there. Sometimes if it jams up, I just hit refresh and everything gets live again. Here's this person who says, wow, FF blundered lots of statements in recent NR news releases and initially will now conduct own drilling on spring pole. Now, you got to remember that people in here are, throwing out their commentary on stocks and their opinions on various different things. And when they do that, you have to do your homework. This is their opinions. Their folks are trying to tell you what they think is going to happen. And for some reason, I'm noticing that my let me go and sorry, folks. I'm just going to. So see, here's one of my posts. So I want to make sure everybody knows we're live in here. So I'll go back to ceo.ca and I'll put, hey folks, we are live. And so this will then, I'll put the link in here. And so now anybody that follows that link will that now be come to my website. And a lot of people in here do follow my stuff this way. Usually we get sometimes up to 50, 60 people watching the live show. Now, I also set it up so that you can also see the recorded version of the show on my website as well. But this is where you come for the live stuff. And my Dirk here was giving me a compliment because I mentioned that I'm my book, as I'm doing this show today, my book is being uploaded, and we're getting really close to publishing my book. I'm really proud of that book, and you're going to be hearing a lot of that from me. I put a lot of work into the book, and I think you'll really enjoy it. Now, I also wanted to go to Dirk there because Dirk earlier today, he mentioned a few stocks. And one of them is getting followed a lot this day, this ME. And he said that ME closed on its 50-day moving average. So it moved up here recently. I'll pop that up there so you can see the chart. So it was up here, it came down, and then it popped up. This one also has a fair amount of stock out, a couple 100 million shares. They've got a $58 million valuation, but they're doing a ton of drilling, and they're doing that drilling in places where you can find some really big deposits. So this is no joke of a project. Dirk is a very sharp guy when it comes to technical indicators. He also does his work on the fundamentals as well. And so when he saw this, I paid attention to that comment earlier. And this, again, you're just going through this stuff. You're sort of looking for signals and noise. Here's another one that he follows, and a lot of people follow this one. Again, this one has over 100 million shares out. A lot of these stocks have had some recent weakness, but they get to these moving averages and they tend to find some bases. A lot of people downplay the importance of technical analysis when it comes to junior mining stocks, and I think they really miss the boat. I think you can get just as much information from a liquid active junior mining stock chart as you can from any chart. I often look for them for signals of how things are performing relative to their news and various different things like that. So another thing that they've got, these are the articles for the day. So as I said, I spend a lot of time in here, folks, and come on in because it's a really good place to go and get a lot of good information about various different stocks that are highly followed. And I find that the reach of this group is quite significant. I often hear people saying, oh yeah, I heard that comment on CEO, or I saw this show on CEO. So there's a lot of good stuff coming out of there, and everybody in the business is starting to pay attention. I've been paying attention since day one. I really enjoy my time on there, and it's a great chance for me to interact with folks. Here, this screen is this is my stock watch. This is my watch list. These are the companies that I keep an eye on. Oceanus Resources is a recent addition, just a couple from a couple days ago. I'm going to put their 1 year chart up there. I always like to look at things from a 1 year perspective. They've recently been under pressure, but they've got some news. What was the news? Trading resumption. Closing of arrangement. Where was it? No, we don't want to look 5 months ago or 11 months ago or May. Someone mentioned this stock the other day. I think it's one you want to take a little bit of look at. I did some homework. I think they had some results out. Otis is a stock that a lot of people on CEO.ca are following. I'm following it as well. Tudor Gold came up a little bit today. That's a sponsor of mine. They are looking for gold in the Golden Triangle. Really sharp people. Walter Storm founded Osisko, and he's founded this company of late. And they've got a lot of key and strategic ground in the Golden Triangle of British Columbia. I'm very excited about that company's prospects, and they do have some drill results pending, so keep an eye on that. International Wastewater Systems, that's a pick of mine that's been doing really well of late. I picked it a couple of months back when it was trading at around, let's see here, why does it do this to me? Let's go to an interactive chart then. See if we can get a 1 year going. Why is it only giving me? Oh, Yahoo. You Yahoos. You Yahoos at Yahoo. You always give me a hard time when I'm trying to do my show live. So I'm just going to move on. Another one that's a pick that's recent I've seen coming up lately is GMV Minerals. They had news out today. Let's go to that one actually. And bam. That's from September the 19th. They were talking about their. I'm sure they had news out today. Let me do this. I'm gonna go over here. I'm gonna go back here, and let's go to GMV, and I'll search, and I will find the news, and it did. Oh yes, they announced that they received their drill permits for an exploration update. So you want to come and read this. Now, I haven't had a chance to read it yet because I pretty much know what their exploration update is. I've been doing my homework on this one lately since back a little bit ago on the website when Eric Coffin was on a little while ago, maybe about a month or so ago. You want to go back, and there it is. On September the 13th, I talked to Eric Coffin, and he brought up GMV. So since then, I've been doing my homework on him, and I like the geophysical anomalies that are in close proximity to the known smaller resource. It's about 500,000 ounces, but I like the chances of that growing in close proximity to where that resource is. And I also like the geophysical anomalies that are right near structures that are also in close proximity to the known bodies. And so I'm really liking what I'm seeing there now. I've got so many pages open. All my friends on the CEO, they make fun of me because I have so many pages open, but I threw a curveball at them today. Hey guys, check out how many tabs I have open. Can't see them, can ya? Galvin, that one is just for you, my friend. GMV, yeah, we'll go back to that one. So take a look at them. They moved up 12%. It's got to be optimism for the drilling. Let's see here. We'll keep going down, see if we can find some that I'm Sirius X Resources, one of my sponsors. I think they have one of the best gold exploration projects in the country, and they've got some pending news near their hole 52. I think you want to do your homework on Sirius SOI. They've come off their yearly high of 142. They're significantly higher than their yearly low, but they are at 55 cents, and we want to take a look at them. Let's see if I can see some other names that pop out to me that I didn't comment on my last show that I'd like to comment on this one. I'm going to scroll down a little bit further because I'm going through ones that I saw last time. And I know I talked about them. That's Balmoral. That's not Bonterra. Bonterra's in my I follow them somewhere, so you'll probably see some action on them. Don't know if it's going to be good when Osisco jumped ship and don't own any stock anymore. Let's see here. Lucara Diamonds, that's up 5% today. That's an interesting one. Barkerville Gold, that one sure has been a roller coaster over the years. It's up 16% today. BGM is their symbol on the Venture Exchange. North Arrow Minerals. The other day I said to somebody that my definition of a zombie is anything under a 10 million valuation, and they came back and said, well, NAR can raise money and they're under 10 million. They're not a zombie. Well, to me, they are a zombie if they're under those valuations, and their 1 year chart will also indicate that, this is not a lively action in a stock in any stretch of the imagination. And so North Arrow, I think they're fair ways away from doing any work or anything. So I wouldn't get too worked up about them. Seeing if I can come across any that moved today that I really wanted to make any comments on. There's another sponsor of mine, Premier Gold. They had news out today. Premier Gold announces their third quarter production results for their 40% owned South Arturo mine in Carlin, Nevada. This is a project that they're in partners with Barrick. So go check out the production numbers. Last time, I remember when we had you and Downey on a show earlier this year, they were optimistic that they could increase those numbers. And just off my quick read of that, it looks like they did. So go and check out Premier Gold, a sponsor of mine and also one of the top gold, I want to say mid-tiers in the making that is really doing some great stuff. So on that note, hey Allan, good luck on the new book, or good luck on the new book from Stateside. I appreciate that, Stateside. I hope to sell very many of them. So I'm going to go and close things off here again. I'll go back to the page where everything is, the page for the show today. And again, thanks a lot for watching the show. Hope to sell very many of them. See, it took off on me there, the audio again. Folks, I'm learning this live stream stuff. Please bear with me. I'm doing my best I can. On that note, let's close off and say, before making any investment decisions, it's important for you to do your homework and speak with your financial advisors. I want to thank my sponsors again, Allset Energy, ION on the Venture Exchange, Nevada Exploration, Premier Gold Mines, Sirius Resources, Tarku Resources, Tudor Gold, West Red Lake Gold Mines, and Wolfden. Hey, I see the little sign there. It means we're live, folks. So those are all my sponsors, all worth the effort to do your homework on. Look above the player here for the video, and you'll find all the links to those companies so you can do your homework. On that note, I'm going to say I also want to thank you, the viewers. You make my shows worth doing. Thank you very much for tuning in, and have a great day. We'll talk to you soon.